Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This time we are going to create the home menu, but right now we are in the game over scene. So switch over to the home scene, and first we need to set a background, so open up the home scene sprites and find the background image. Once you found it, simply drag and drop it into the scene. You might notice that it's way bigger than the actual camera, but that's fine because different devices have different resolutions. And in order to not worry about these resolutions, you have to set a background image that's bigger than the camera. I'm going to also duplicate it by selecting it and holding Ctrl and pressing D. Now we have two background images and we simply do not need to worry about different resolutions ever. To keep things organized again, let's rename these to BG1 and BG2. But now we have two game objects that have the same purpose and they are taking up useful space in the hierarchy. To organize that also a little bit, you can create an empty game object, rename it to simply background. Make sure these positions are all set to 0, and then take these two background images and drag them into the background game object. This way we can move them around together if needed, and they are just looking a bit more pretty and organized. After that is done, let's import the rest of the sprites. First we have the color switch logo, and we can immediately see that it's way too big for our camera, so we'll need to scale it down. Let's say to 0.6. The reason why the O's are missing is because in the original game we have the O's in shape of the obstacles that are rotating, and we'll get to that later. Make sure to rename it immediately so you don't forget later on. Next we have circles. Three different sizes. And we also have the play button. These are all way too big for our menu, so we need to rescale them. Let's say the play button should be at 0.4. Let's rename them first. Small circle, so it's easier to deal with them. We can select all three of these circles and let's try rescaling them to 0.5 in both axes. Okay, this seems close to the original. It doesn't have to be perfect so we don't waste too much time on this. One more thing that's different in the original, they are rotated like this, so it's minus 45 degrees. If we press play, we can see that everything disappears. That's because the background images are actually being in front of the other images. To fix that, we need to create sorting layers. Click on one of these images, go to sorting layer and press on add sorting layer. We can see that our sorting layer list is empty, so we need to create some more. First let's create a background one. Then we will need this foreground one. And we'll also need one more. It's going to be the player sorting layer, because the player is going to be on top of everything else. Basically the layer that's last at the bottom is going to be in front of the camera. I mean closest to the camera. Don't forget to assign these. The background images are going to be the background sorting layer, and all of these, wait, what's this? This is the play button. All of these are going to have the foreground layer. If we press play now, it's going to be fine. Everything is going to be displayed correctly, but we can notice the difference from the original game that these circles are not rotating. So in the original, the smallest and the biggest one are rotating clockwise and the middle one is rotating counterclockwise. To do that, we'll actually need to do some programming, so we'll cover that in the next lesson.